Kaiju No. 8 just revealed Kafka's true power, but at a huge cost, as he will never be the same again after this. His entire life, everything he's worked towards is gone. Why? Well, because he's no longer human. In chapter 117, we witnessed the origins of Kaiju No. 8 and how it was born from the manifestation of the grudge humanity had against the Kaiju because of the destruction caused by the strongest of them all, the Mereki monster. As chapter 118 reminds us, Kafka's ancestor and the samurai that battled in this war felt powerless, like insects overcome with shame. However, with Kafka now connected to them on a deeper level, he is beginning to feel this same sense of shame, causing him to shed a tear for reasons he doesn't fully understand. Meanwhile, Kafka's samurai ancestor explains how the great catastrophe lasted for nearly 100 days before the power the Mereki monster had stored underground ran dry. This is how and why it's been dormant ever since, allowing Kaiju No. 9 to take over as the #1 guy. Nonetheless, using Kafka's ancestor's heart as a core, all of the samurai's anger and sadness came together to form a single mass, mingled with the ley lines deep underground, turning into a kaiju without a physical form, just like the Mereki monster.
No!
Yes, that's right, Kaiju No. 8 and the Mereki monster are the same. Whilst one is literally a horrific amalgamation of multiple kaiju hellbent on annihilating humanity, the other is a physical manifestation of humanity's grudge against the kaiju. However, the fact it took on the form of an insect goes deeper. They recognize their own weaknesses, embracing the kaiju's strength, something the future generations lead into more, using the powers of kaiju for battle to survive. However, the existence of Kaiju No. 8 also represents the burden of humanity's inability to reconcile with the root cause of the conflict, something Kafka's new form is destined to change. He will become the bridge. But first, he has to face the truth. Before him lays the lil guy, bleeding and dying. Furthermore, Kafka's ancestor confronts him about how he chose to fight against the Mereki monster and save his friends because, well, let's just check in on how the others are doing real quick again, shall we?
What the hell?
Are you serious right now, bro?
Therefore, if Kafka is to level up, he's got to unlock the strongest power a shonen protagonist has up their sleeve, the power of bonds. That's right, to stand a chance against the Mereki monster, Kafka and his ancestor need to form a deeper bond and literally become one with each other. And the key to that is Kafka's heart. Remember, in chapter 114, Kaiju No. 8's core was destroyed. After just one attack from the Mereki monster, his vitals were totally undetectable. Bro was dead. But he's now got his second chance. However, it comes with a huge sacrifice. Kafka's ancestor reveals he planned on returning the heart after they defeated the monster, but now that the core is toast, they have no choice but to convert Kafka's heart into a new core. Thus, Kafka must choose to accept his heart and return to being a human, or turn it into a core and become a kaiju. Now, he's slowly been turning into a full-on kaiju all throughout the story. The more he used his transformation, the more permanent it became. For example, following the battle against Kaiju No. 9 in chapter 54, Kafka's kaijufication continued to progress rapidly, meaning one of his hands never went back to normal. Thus, with this battle heating up, our community theorized that there's a dangerous chance Kafka may never return. And well, congratulations, we were right. Because if Kafka chooses to turn his heart into a core, then he will become one with his ancestors and be unable to ever return to human again. Thus, he would be going against everything his friends are fighting for, and most importantly, would be betraying his younger self. Don't forget, his entire goal in life was to fight and kill the kaiju. But now, if he has any hope in doing that, he has to become one. Oh, and also, bro wants to smash, don't forget, and yeah, that might be a bit of a problem now.
What happened to the original plot of the movie?
Nonetheless, Kafka takes a moment to reflect on the fact that he and the little guy were the same all along. And I mean, he's not wrong. The entire existence of Kaiju No. 8 stems from humanity's failure to uphold what they believe in and to protect those who are close to them. In spite of this, it left them swallowed up in shame. This is like how when Kafka was 23 and had already failed the Defense Force entrance exam 4 times. Okay, failing your exams and battling a 100-day war against Godzilla aren't quite the same same level, but at least Kafka realizes that. Even so, he decided to try again when 18-year-old Mina took the test for the first time. Her and Kafka's relationship is one built on admiration and love, but their lives took very different paths. Mina became a symbol of hope thanks to her incredible talent, whilst Kafka kept failing to join the defense force and became a bit of a bum. Nonetheless, even though she was achieving great things, Mina never stopped believing in him. She carried the weight of their shared dream alone, hoping he would one day catch up to her. Mina's success wasn't all happiness though. Her amazing power also left her feeling isolated and under pressure. She hid her feelings behind a calm and serious personality, even though deep down she missed Kafka and doubted if he would ever keep his promise. This tension shaped who they became. Mina as the cold, determined captain, and Kafka as someone who would never give up trying to reach her no matter how hard it was. Because by literally becoming a kaiju, he was given a chance to finally catch up to her. Their bond is put to the test on the battlefield, as even when Kafka unlocked his terrifying new berserk mode to save humanity, he ran the risk of losing his humanity forever. With only 60 seconds before he was gone for good, Mina became his anchor, fighting by his side, pushing her abilities to a whole new level, showing how their teamwork makes them stronger together. Now both Kafka and Kaiju No. 8 are defined by failure. However, it's this failure that has forced them to grow. Whilst yes, they feel shame for their failure and the fact that they had to become a kaiju, they now also have hope. Because with Kafka embracing his transformation, he can fight for a better future for his friends, even if it's something they disapprove of. That shame has now become sacrifice. Sacrificing that pussy. I'm so stupid, man.
Shut your stupid.
Okay, but seriously, this is a sacrifice Kafka is now willing to make after realizing the little guy struggles, but how he never gave up. Without him, Kafka would have never gotten his second chance, and so it's only right he now gives the little guy his, bringing us onto the revenge match. You see, Kafka is now the bridge between humanity and kaiju. The entire existence of the Mareki monster and Kaiju No. 8 is a commentary on how all beings, human or otherwise, are shaped by shared experiences of fear, pain, and survival. Even Kaiju No. 9 fits this, as he lived a quiet life away from humans for his own safety before learning he could actually overpower them. It's a never-ending cycle. However, Kafka's role as someone who embodies both species can begin to change how humans and kaiju interact. We know it's possible as Hoshina and No. 10 coexist and help each other in battle. That is the future of the defense force. Rather than killing kaiju to use as weapons, they would be better off bonding with them. Remember, the whole reason Kaiju No. 9 began his attack on humanity was to reclaim the fallen numbered kaiju that the humans had stolen. But that no longer has to be the case, with Kafka accepting to turn his heart into a core, accepting his true strength. Because he has embraced his past and how it makes you stronger, he will now be able to defeat the Mareki monster. However, does this mean that Kafka will seriously stay looking like Kaiju No. 8 for the rest of his life? As we've said, bro's gotta smash. This is shonen after all. It's also one of the very few where they're actually of age to smash. But I don't think even Mina is freaky enough to take Kaiju No. 8's little guy. And so how does Kafka return back to normal? Well, yeah, about that. One of Kaiju No. 8's biggest inspirations is an old novel from 1915 called The Metamorphosis. It's about a man named Gregor Samsa who wakes up one day to find himself transformed into a giant insect-like creature. Sound familiar? Well, what's more is that the author of this novel is a man called Franz Kafka. However, Gregor's family abandons him and he never turns back into a human, dying alone, feeling unloved and unwanted. It's a story that explores themes like alienation, family dynamics, and the loss of identity. It's a tragic tale that highlights how people can change when someone they love becomes a burden. All things that could very easily happen with Kafka never returning to his human form again. But luckily, Kaiju No. 8 is a pure-blooded shonen. Thus, I would expect a much happier ending here, thankfully. Because of this, we can hold out hope that Kafka will regain his human form, reuniting with his friends and, most importantly, Mina. How else are we going to get Kaiju No. 8 Next Generations, huh? But before that, Kafka has the most important battle of his entire kaiju killing career coming up. But it's not just him now risking permanent damage to their body and life going forward, but so too are the captains. Because whilst Mina is sat there tending to her hubby's lifeless body, she notices something. It's not as lifeless as they all thought it was. Despite the report saying Kafka was dead, she clocks that he's not converted back to human like usual. Thus, she knows that he's not given up yet, just like Hoshina and Narumi. However, things aren't looking too good for them. Weapons number 1 output is down 15%, whilst number 10 is down 12. As a result, overheating is imminent. Not ideal considering the Mareki monster's attacks are getting more and more dangerous. After all, its attacks are totally incomprehensible. If not for Narumi foreseeing the attacks, Hoshina would have been done for by now. And so number 1's retina is the key to this dub, or at least that's what they think. In reality, shit's not looking too hot.
Big man thing, yeah? It's not looking good, bruv.
Narumi's eye is reading their signals, but they're fending off what should be guaranteed hits. On top of that, his future sight doesn't work when multiple futures are unfolding to him at once, which is when he learns that what he's fighting is the amalgamation of years worth of kaiju, multiple monsters, each with their own future. Luckily, this is vital information for the squad. Furthermore, Narumi is still landing attacks and reading its moves, thus both he and Hoshina are able to continually chip away at the Mareki monster. But with them both mere seconds away from overheating, they're left with one last chance. A chance that wouldn't come. Before Narumi could land his attack, his body retaliated. He had hit his limit. But like Kafka, that didn't stop him. He did a control override on his weapon, risking his entire brain being turned to toast. Because what good's a brain when you're dead anyway? Thus, much like Isao and Hikari before him, Narumi is content with sacrificing everything if it means the dub is secured, because he knows that the next generation is already ready. This is for them and all the generations that will follow. Even if it's just mere seconds worth of information, it's information that can save billions. Unfortunately though, Isao's ideals were not the only thing Narumi adopted. It seems so was death. Because even if he can spot the oncoming attacks, it's useless if his body is too damaged to react. Thus, he is stabbed right through the chest. This leaves Hoshina vulnerable, whose body is also breaking down, on top of taking a full thwack from the Mareki monster. Thus, it is GG. Narumi sits there, helpless, simply waiting for the inevitable death that is coming his way as the Mareki monster prepares to land the killing blow. But remember guys, there's one thing we're forgetting. This is Shonen! Kafka, with his newfound strength, launches himself across the map in less than a second, scaring even the Mareki monster himself as Kaiju number 8 and the 400 years worth of hatred and shame lands a blow, saving Narumi's life. This is the battle of peak fiction, a battle of pure shonen rawness, a battle of past, present, and future. Now, if you want to enjoy more peak fiction just like this, then I recommend you click the video on your screen right now.